welcome to the Famous Computer Cafe on a Friday morning and afternoon.
Who are you?
I'm Michael Walker.
Well, I'm Andy Velkoff, and we've got a very special guest for you. You know, Fridays are just a little bit...
We get a little wacko around here on Fridays.
Certainly
we have
do.
to admit it.
Our very special guest today is Mr. James Copland. What some call him Jamie. Jamie is the Vice President and Director of Marketing at Atari, and they've been doing a lot of new things, and they've sort of resurrected themselves, and he's going to be talking about Atari's new product lines.
Well, I understand they're really reviving their new computer system, so it's going to be interesting. It took us a while to get this guy. Good job, Andrew.
Okay.
Let's see. Want to let you guys know about the Blue Plate Special. Tomorrow, normally on Saturdays, is a big software buying day. So when you go into the warehouse, Dollars and Cents is their Blue Plate Special, and it's an excellent program for helping you get your financial house in order, save money, be able to monitor your transactions. Of course, the prices at the warehouse are some of the cheapest in town, 40 to 70% off. So when you go in there, make sure you let somebody know that you heard about it here at the Famous Computer Cafe.
Well, sit back, relax, and we'll be right back after this message. Well, hi, this is Andy Velkoff, and we're here at the Famous Computer Cafe. And with us, we have a really special guest, Mr. James Copland, who is Vice President of Marketing for Atari US Corporation. James, welcome to the cafe.
Well, I consider it a very distinct honor. This is a very unique establishment. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We're real proud of it. James, Atari. I can't think of another company right now in the industry that is having more written about it, more talked about it. I mean, you guys are really at the center of a lot of things that are going on right now. Give us a sense about where Atari is at today in relation to where it's come from in the last couple of years.
Atari over the last couple of years, naturally, as is known to all, unfortunately spent more than they made. And frankly, had the company not been purchased by Jack Tramiel in July, I have serious questions as to whether or not it would be around today. As to what it did and the benefits of the old corporation, it has a brand awareness worldwide second only to Coke. It has more computerized game consoles and computers sold worldwide than all manufacturers combined, with over 20 units sold. And the new corporation intends to take advantage of that brand awareness and that saturation of product and capitalize on it in 1985.
Well, you guys have come out with some really interesting machines recently. I mean, you've got the 130 and the ST and the 520 ST. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, basically what we have done, which has been the philosophy of Mr. Tramiel over the past 27 years, is to make products that he believes are a necessary entity in the evolution of mankind and youth and whatnot for education and whatever reasons, to bring them down into an affordable price range so that everybody can afford to get involved. We are not doing anything new. We are following a very successful track record of the Japanese, and that philosophy very simply is to take products in the $3,000, $4,000, and $5,000 price range, redesign them, cost reduce them, give them far greater features, more full-featured, user-friendly, and sell them and offer to the consumer at $300, $400, and $500. I would like to point out, however, Andrew, that there is a major definition gap here. There is no such thing as a home computer. There's no such thing as a business computer. We sell computers to people. If people care to use them in the home or use them in business, that's their choice. The definition of business computer is because nobody in the home can afford to buy a business computer, and therefore the two class differentials.
So if I understand what you're saying, the way you see the industry, the definition of a business computer is price break as opposed to a home computer.
Price break in the application software, and there's a tie-in there. Most of the, in the earlier years, the computers that were priced lower simply didn't have the memory capability or the color graphics or the emulators in order to, of course, emulate larger application software such as database, spreadsheet, etc. And from that standpoint, yes, there was a definite distinction between the lower priced and the higher priced. As you have seen out here, We have on our 65XE, which is an 8-bit machine, we have a new software package called Infinity. That software package has database, has WordPro, has graphics, has a telecommunications package, has spreadsheet. We believe it is far superior to Lotus Multiplanner Symphony on the market these days, and we intend to market it within the next 6 weeks for under $50 retail US.
Well, wow, you mentioned Lotus and you mentioned Symphony. I mean, those are high-class business packages, and yet your computers are going to sell, in some cases, for less than those pieces of software. What do you think that's going to do to the market?
I hope it does what our whole intention in the new Atari Corporation is. I hope it kicks a few butts, opens a few eyes, and brings the industry into reality that the people that buy and support their products are the people that work hard, driving taxis, ushering people into hotels, babysitting, working in pharmacies and other job functions. Not everybody makes $50,000 and $100,000 a year in this country. Not everybody can afford to spend $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 for a computer. And yes, you hit the money right in the head. If we retail computers for less than what software costs for other companies, we believe we have a stranglehold on the market. There's also a reason as to why that software is so highly priced, because there isn't the distribution of computers to allow that software to be manufactured in volume, therefore bringing the price down. I'm going to draw an analogy for you, if I may. Not too long ago, there was a major fuel shortage in the United States. Prices doubled and in some cases tripled. That was the single hardest year for the car industry, even though they had a quality increasing or quality control improvements on all of their vehicles. The consumers simply could not afford to buy the car and pay for the fuel. And it is the same thing in the computer industry. And with this corporation, you will pay for the product, you will be able to afford the peripherals, and you will be able to fuel the machine.
Wow, that's, I mean, you're talking about some revolutionary marketing concepts here. We're here at the famous Computer Cafe. I'm talking with James Copland, who is, of course, the Vice President of Marketing for Atari US. This is Andy Velkoff. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, I've just got a couple more questions to ask you. I know you're in a hurry. You've got a lot of things you got to attend to here at the cafe, but we'll be right back after this. Well, we're back. We're here at the famous Computer Cafe, speaking with James Copland, who is Vice President of Marketing for Atari US Corporation. James, people frequently ask the question, why do I need a computer? I mean, we get lots of folks here at the cafe who drop by and they say, yeah, this is sort of interesting, but I don't know if it's for me. What do you have to say to those people?
Basically, the strategy of our company is very simple. We are not enticing or forcing anybody to buy any product. We happen to believe very strongly that the youth of this world, which is our major target market, our emphasis in 1985 with this new company will be to go after children between the ages of 6 and 16, because we believe without any question of a doubt they are very much aware of the necessity in learning computerization from the standpoint of machinery, in computing, in computerized telephones. They understand where this market is leading them. They understand what telecommunication is, and all of this is a form of computers. We will not spend a dime in coercing anybody that we approach with our product announcements for our product to buy our product versus an IBM, an Apple, or anyone else in the market. If they feel that they wish to walk into a mass merchant, save $2,700, bag over their head or not, it's totally up to themselves. We are simply making this product affordable. What does a personal computer do? It is simply a tool to do with it as you wish and cater to the needs of the individual that purchases. And I'm sure some people will find no reason to buy a home computer, personal computer, business computer, or whatever, as the term or the industry terms these products today. What it offers you is the ability to design, become creative, take advantage of a mass resource on a small chip and customize it for your own use. One element that's interesting, and I keep referring to the car industry because they've had great success and they've done a number of things. 10 years ago, the average cost of the electronics in a car was under $700. Lee Iacocca, who certainly is a man to be reasoned with, has stated that in 1986, 1987, there will be over $7,500 worth of computerized electronics. I had the opportunity to buy a imported sports car a number of years ago, and I sat in the cockpit because that's exactly what it looked like. And it took me about 5 minutes to find out where to put the key, and it happened to be at night, and it took me about another 20 minutes to find out where the lights were, and it was all computerized. When I left my door open, it told me to close the door, and I thought that was very interesting. More recently, however, in this country, 30 million telephones were sold in the United States last year in an 80 million household market. A good majority of those phones were the pre-programmable phones, where after you read the instruction manual, you could put Aunt Gladys or Uncle John or your office number or whatever along with the fire, health, and medical department. Those three numbers were very easy to put into the telephone. However, those manufacturers will tell you, as I'm sitting here today, that their 800 lines were buzzing off the hook because the majority of adults who purchased these phones, even after reading the manuals, were unable to program the telephone. You know who did? And who did it very effectively were the kids in the family. The ones that are confronted in the YMCAs, the libraries, the schools, and whatever. The youth of the country is the one that's intelligent. They have a better understanding of where this market goes than you or I do. And we are here to serve the youth of the world, and that's where we're going after in '85.
You mentioned telephones. That brings up a whole other category, which is telecomputing. Where do you see that? I mean, is that something that Atari sees as of value in the marketing of computers? Not so much as a technique, but in a place to put computers and as a place to use computers?
I can see the telecommunications network being as intricate a part of the American home or homes of the world as television is today. The PBX systems that we know that are in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, primarily used by corporations, are now filtering down into the consumer market for home use. I can see where you are going to have computers and television screens and phones all coupled in together, mounted on the wall. It looks like a picture, and this is going to be your form of communication. You can now communicate between one family or another, business to business. You can have a mini telex machine, as CP or CN or Associated Press has here in the United States, in your own home. It does not have a time zone barrier. All right, as long as it's on, it's communicating 24 hours a day. You will be able to do your banking, do your shopping, do your ticketing. You will be able to be in control and the master of your own destiny. Standing in lines at airports will now be a thing of the past. Finding out how much money you have in the bank is no longer a problem. Being able in turn to go into a grocery store and find out if the weekly special is still there, you will be able to bring it up on your computer. The vast resources is only as the limit is only as good as your imagination. And now that the costs have been brought into line, this will be the most exciting element that is introduced into the computing element that has been done in the last 10 years.
Do you think, I mean, as someone who is heavily into marketing as you are, do you think that the industry is doing an effective job in communicating what's possible to the market?
I think as far as telecommunications via the modem goes, just to handle that element, no manufacturer is promoting it whatsoever. I think it is another medium right now which scares the hell out of the average consumer, and as a result of the costs associated in needing a disk drive and a modem, the cost prohibiting has been noted by the consumer. We as an industry have to get together and educate the consumer and allow them and teach them as to what this package can do, and at the same point in time we also have to invite them to become curious and give them a reason to buy a personal computer, and we will in 1985.
Jack Tramiel has been known for being someone who has, in a sense, I mean, he's talked about the business as warfare almost, and you guys have been, I know, to some extent concerned about the Japanese. I mean, Jack, even when he was back in Commodore, and here, I mean, it's something that has been a topic of concern to the industry here in this country. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, I'd like to get your thoughts on where you see that whole market going, and where you see the Japanese MSX system coming into play. I mean, is that really going to be significant, or do you think that's fallen by the wayside? There are a lot of opinions going around, and I'd like to hear what you might have to say. We're here at the famous Computer Cafe. This is Andy Velkoff. We're talking with James Copland, who is the Vice President of Marketing for Atari US. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message. Well, we're back. This is Andy Velkoff, and we're here at the famous Computer Cafe with our guest, James Copland, Vice President of Marketing for Atari US. James, what about MSX? I mean, a couple of years ago, it was really the big thing that people were talking about in terms of the invasion, so to speak, that it would be a universal system. People, to some extent, are still talking about it as coming into the market and creating a whole lower-end market. What do you think about MSX?
Well, basically, the Japanese have a different philosophy of developing product for sale both domestically and internationally, and it's pretty much termed as Japan Inc. And there is an organization in Japan called MIDI, which basically is a research and development organization that presents ideas as to manufacturing of new product, and the government says yes, and they all go out and manufacture it as a group. And of course, where they have to become competitive is who can manufacture it and sell it for less money. The Japanese have been a powerhouse, and let's call a spade a spade. They have rebuilt and developed an absolutely massive industry since World War II, and I have great respect for them, as does our founder, Jack Tramiel. However, in the 60s, Jack Tramiel decided to challenge the Japanese, and when all American companies felt that the only way to do business was in America, Jack Tramiel was in Japan doing business and competing head-to-head with the Japanese and learning what made the Japanese as strong as they were. He has been, without a doubt, the single strongest element in keeping the Japanese out of the personal computer business at the low-end level for the past 6-7 years. MSX, to answer your question directly, has been touted as the end-all and be-all. For the past 2 years, it was going to be released each and every month, month after month after month. And I certainly believe that when Jack left the industry a year ago, the Japanese were very much relieved. Now that he's back, they're not so relieved. And the bottom situation, very simply, is that with the product we've introduced at this show today, along with other new product coming out from other manufacturers, I personally believe MSX for the United States market is dead.
Well, you certainly have an opinion about MSX. Why do you think it's dead?
Well, basically speaking, the Japanese are here and they're representing their product at the show, and it consists of an 8-bit microprocessor operating system. Based on the software, which there is a company in the United States who has got an abundance of software that has already been written for MSX, which is not the problem. The 8-bit lineup that they have is retailing, or supposedly to retail, for considerably more than most of the 16 32-bit systems that are being shown at this show. And I believe that the American consumer, for a number of reasons, is very intelligent. You can't cheat the consumer, providing you give them price, you give them performance, you give them quality, and you give them reliability. That's what they're looking for, and they are looking for quality, not quantity. And I believe, based on the price and the performance that MSX is offering right now, it will not be the choice of the average American consumer.
Separating ourselves from the marketing aspects and whether or not that particular group can capture the market, do you see a universal operating system as desirable? Would it be beneficial to the industry, or maybe it wouldn't?
I believe that when you take the competitive nature away, that you basically generate a larger and larger bureaucracy. Many people have asked us, why can we come out with product the way we have at the price points we have? And that's basically because we run this company as a dictatorship, not a bureaucracy. We have the ability to stop production on a dime. We do not take additional advertising dollars to convince the consumer when we know we have a lousy product and they really don't want to buy it. Try and spend additional monies to convince them to buy it. We've made a mistake, we pull it off, we regroup, and we bring them out price performance product. As far as a universal operating system goes, I think I can apply that to the politics and the governments of the world. In this particular country, we have 50 states, or 51. I'm a Canadian, actually. And I believe Canada now is being classified as a 52nd state. But my point is, one of the things that this country is lacking is the ability to get together, not unlike the Japanese, and develop something in harmony for the betterment of the American people. The U.S. government has industrial programs and monies available. The problem is you can't find two states to agree on how they're going to spend that money to develop product. And that is why I believe that a universal operating system in the computer business just will never materialize. And should it materialize, I do not believe that the consumer will be served in the best interest, and that's why we do what we do.
Well, I know you're not general counsel for the corporation, but let me ask you sort of a legal question. I mean, do the antitrust laws in this country somehow inhibit the industry from getting together and going towards something that would be beneficial to the public, or maybe it really doesn't matter?
You're quite right, I am not a legal beagle, certainly not in the U.S. market. I believe that the American government is always open to any idea that better serves the economy and the education or the progression or evolution of the American people. I believe this industry, however, has progressed at such a rapid rate. There are so many dollars committed and there is so much technology, we haven't even tapped the resources of technology, that at this point in time, with the eager race to try and improve on what we have, that this type of a get-together, legal or otherwise, just simply is not in the cards at this point in time. But I believe, not unlike corporations, governments, especially this in the United States, probably have an open door policy and are prepared to listen to anything that would improve high-tech, better product, a more domineering or leading worldwide position. I'm sure they'd sit down and listen to anything.
Let me shift gears for just a little bit. Amiga, loaded word. People have been talking about that whole situation with Atari, with Commodore. What's the story with that?
Well, basically, I suppose the biggest story is that everybody in the industry and the trade and the analysts all predicted that the reason Jack Tramiel bought Atari was because they had a machine that could probably be brought to market overnight. As you know, this machine is now in question as to who actually has the ownerships, and as far as I would like to comment on that from a legal standpoint, it is in the courts and will be settled in the courts accordingly. To draw an analogy, though, as to what a bureaucracy versus a entrepreneurial corporation can do, here is a machine that was touted as being 90% completed. If I'm sure, as you have visited another booth in this show of a former company, and I doubt very much asking you a very pointed question as to whether or not you saw an Amiga machine. But I do believe you saw 9 brand new computers with disk drives, with brand new modems, with new printers, with new monitors, RGB, high color resolution, that were all developed from a standing start in 5 months. That is what the ability to be the master of your own destiny, buy right, understand the market, and know what the consumer wants enables you to do if you apply your mind to it. Now, mind you, yes, it was a 24-hour-a-day job for 5 months. We made our stance 5 months ago. We told the world what we would bring to market. We have brought it to market. The only thing now we have to do is deliver, and that is the next step in the road to success for Atari, and we will deliver as we said we would.
Okay, well, James, this has been a real pleasure. And listen, as things develop with Atari, as new things come out, we'd love to have you back here at the cafe to talk about what's happening down the road. And would you come back?
Andrew, I would be more than happy to, and with all due respect, I do not hand out praise loosely. I am very critical of the industry and what we do within the industry and marketing programs and promotions and whatever, but I certainly would like to tip my hat. You have a very, very unique organization here, and I wish you all the very best.
Well, thanks very much. We're here at the famous Computer Cafe, and we've been talking with James Copland, who is the Vice President of Marketing for Atari US. We'll be right back after this message. Stay tuned. Well, another Friday here at the famous Computer Cafe. We'd like to thank everyone who helped make today's show possible, helping us tail out the week. Mr. James Copland from Atari. We'd like to thank Jamie for joining us and telling us all about Atari. We'd also like to thank Michael Welch, the composer of our theme music, and Rick Burnett, our technical producer.
Rick's been doing a great job for us. He really helps make the show, as tight as it is. And without Rick, I tell you, we'd be having some pretty tough times around here. And I want to give him an extra pat on the back.
Let's hear it for Rick.
All right, Ricky. Listen, also, we want to let you guys know that when you go out and buy your software tomorrow, go to the warehouse because they've got some incredible prices, 40 to 70% off. Check with them before you check anywhere in town. And of course, their Blue Plate special is dollars and cents by Monogram. We've had the president on our show here at the famous Computer Cafe, John Reese. And their program is probably one of the most popular financial packages out in the market, and it's for just about every machine that you have out there. So everybody can take advantage of it.
So listen, whether you're buying software or just having a great weekend, have a good time this weekend.
Really, we've been
Enjoy
working
yourself.
pretty hard this week, and you guys have been great. We want to let you know we're here next week, as we are every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. The executive producers, Michael Walker, Ellen Walker, and Andrew Velkoff.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.